Hello, 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 hello. Okay, that's no, no. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Kai. So, you see this guy here? This guy is Visago. He's from a show called Helluva Boss, which is on YouTube. Some of you may not know this about me, but I like Helluva Boss. I like Has Been Hotel too, much less than Helluva Boss, but I like Helluva Boss a lot. And I know what you're thinking, Kai. You don't seem homosexual to me, nor are you white, nor are you a millennial. And all of those things are true. The first one, I'm not. It's questionable, but but I really like it. And there was uh I don't even what was it? I was watching a video yesterday, and then they had like a gag where a character, it's a skeleton, and he's like, "I'm gonna bone you," and it was a second win extra punctuation. And so at the end of the episode, they're like, "Go buy our I'm gonna bone you merch on Shark Robot," even though it was like a one line gag. So I thought that was funny, and they didn't have it, but I just think the idea of having a one note, one line character get his own merch and everything like that as the thing is coming out is so forced or pre-planned, is hilarious. But this isn't meant to, but kind of does connect. Not to be kind of passive aggressive, but I wanted to talk about vivziepop because on the side it was like, instead of having, caps, shirts, pins, and so on, it said like Luna. Uh, it was really weird. I was like, what happened? It said like Luna, Millie, Moxie, so on, like all the Helluva Boss characters. Where is it? Second Windstorm. Like, yeah, I was going crazy. It said like vivziepop characters, and then that is quite clearly not vivziepop. So I was like, this feels like they're giving me a message. So I went to the actual vivziepop store, see that every single character has their own merchandise. Not this isn't one of those things where I'm like, come on, oh my gosh, capitalism. But it made me think about all that hubbub going on recently on Twitter about how the pimp character who was like raping the main character, Angel Dust, on Has Been Hotel. He's not the main character, he's a main character. But, just doing all this horrible stuff. Got his own Valentine's Day pinup and art and stuff like that. Oh my god. I'm like, man, these just like one handed art. But it made me think about this tweet someone had. This is how it loops around. It made me think about this tweet someone had on Twitter where it was like, I'm gonna sound pretentious, but the reasons Viv's design sucks is because she makes OCs, not characters. And people were furious about this. They're like, well, what does OC stand for? Exactly, original character. But I feel like they were being kind of purposefully obtuse because I feel like I understood what they meant. I don't really have a problem with her designs. I feel like a lot of them are samey, kind of androgynous, upside down triangle torso, all wearing suit and ties, all tuxedos or whatever, and then like a bow tie of some sort. Um, you can, like, people always make the joke of like if something was designed by vivziepop and then it's like just Alice Store, but with like a different palette on. And he's like, haha, I'm gay. I like gay sex. And that's like the thing they have on the side, which is funny because he's the only character who's like asexual. I sound like a big dork saying that, but yeah. Um, I feel like her writing suffers a lot because she treats every single character like an OC almost. Now, let me get this straight. I have no ill will against her. I think what she has done is absolutely amazing. But this is gonna have to be Like they say, compliment sandwich. This is gonna be a compliment Scooby Doo sandwich. You know, just like one bun and then a bunch of stuff and then like a couple buns in between, then one last bun. But just a lot of stuff in between those buns, you know. But I really admire what she's been able to do. Started on YouTube making, you know, Kesha animations and so on, and now this character that she made is voiced by Kesha. So it's just come full circle. I'm like, it's amazing. She's worked with people, like she was inspired by Invader Zim, and then has Richard Horvitz on her show who played Zim. You know, so it's just it's really like admirable. But I feel like there is an air of defensiveness around Vivienne Medrano, Vivienne Gilbert Medrano, and I feel like that could, I'm not gonna say be her undoing. It's not like she's just like one person like Chris Chan or whatever, just gonna spiral, but just some things I've been thinking um, about how like OC-ish a lot of characters feel. Um, Let me explain myself. Like, look, here's what I said. Point one. All of her characters feel like OCs in the vein of them having fleshed out backstories but doing fuck all in the actual story. Like, look, what's his name? Let me see if I can find him again before I lose him. Not you, Yahtzee. Vasago. Here he is. Now, when he first came out, he had all this hype and press built up around him. Like, oh my gosh, you know, Harvey's going to be playing Vasago. This is going to be so great. This is going to be so crazy. He's going to change the game and so on. People making all this fan art, people getting excited and talking and making all these comments and posts and so on. Then he gets in the show and then he does nothing. He literally cannot do anything. He is a lawyer and then cannot get someone off. It's like he does nothing, but he's, you know, got all this hype around him and all this backstory and all these, like every single character every character on the show is almost like how Araki writes character. Hirohiko Araki writes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters. He writes like their name, their birthday, their you know, favorite ice cream, their favorite color, their favorite movie, and so on. And then has that kind of reverberate throughout their character. But I'm like, some of these, I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, sometimes they're more fleshed out on the Wikipedia page than they are in the show. Personality, this character, this shark. I don't think he even talks. He doesn't. It doesn't talk. It's just like there, and it has all this stuff, relationships, Vox, all this trivia. Valentino's former pet, Queef, was fed to Vark the shark after Valentino killed it for annoying him. Just a whole show filled with glup shittos. Where is he? Claude. These two characters, I look at them and I see the same thing. I'm like, huh? What's the difference? Nothing. Oh, wait, sorry. Maybe that was a bit harsh. Here we go. This is him. This is Vasago. Ben Quaderneros. That's that's him. Oh, wait a minute. Their legs actually. Oops, that's just me. But I'm like, yeah, their legs do look a lot alike. They kind of do have the same body structure. Huh. Bizarre. But but anyways, and then what was I saying? Um they don't, yeah, like a part of this point I also said it feels like a collection of really cool designs Viv had, and then the story is just a way to introduce them. And then in parentheses, Zestiel the Shakespeare spider. Like he's very interesting to look at and so on, but then does nothing in the story. So I'm like, it's really nice having, you know, interesting characters fill the world, but then when the characters are only interesting to look at and they have nothing to do, then it's kind of like If I just wanted a show meant to introduce cool designs and sets and ideas, I just watch Ninjago because that's basically what it is, a show to introduce Lego sets. And it's like an artist's wet dream, but like, come on, like I get it, like have some decency. Put that thing away, Walter. Put it away. But put your dick away, Walter. I'm not looking at. I'm just going crazy. I can't think right. What is it? Also feels like they don't have enough bark to match their bite. Like yeah, zestiest, zestiest and Alistair. Uh, walking down the street and making everybody cower around them and cry and piss their pants and kill themselves. Um, when Alistair does nothing the whole show, only beats up goons and then fights one person that might somewhat be on his level and gets his ass beat. So it's just like just hype built up around hype for hype's sake. How long have I been talking? 11 minutes. My god, I suck at keeping time, dude. Let me see. Point two. Because of all those fleshed out backstories, she's afraid of having any truly negative traits. Outside of human, Blitz is a shitty ex type flaws. Like, yeah, all of them are just normal people. Essentially, feels like normal people. You can get a job, you can get a 401k, buy an apartment, get a car, so on. They're in hell. Like, that's the fun of it, I guess. But because of them being so, how do I say it? Like when you make a character, a lot of people have this thing. I've done this before. When you have a character, you kind of latch onto them, you know. And they're like, "Well, I can't, do XYZ. This is my baby." You think of your characters as like your creations, your babies, your darlings. And so you hate to have people hate your darlings. But sometimes I'm like, you need a bad guy, like genuinely. And but it's like sometimes they're afraid to just have someone be like a bad, like have genuine flaws outside of like, oh man, Blitz, we had sex once and then he didn't return my calls. Like something outside of that. And like Ozymandias, he is the sin of lust, and he's saying to his boyfriend, "Hey, consent is sexy. You are a demon. You kill people. You are lust incarnate." Like, like I get it's like a bit of like it's kind of oxymoronic. Like he's the sin of lust, but they never really go fully. So it feels like they're kind of fence sitting. Like what's her name? Yeah, her too. Queen Bee. She's the sin of gluttony, but then Blitzo starts drinking, and she's like, "Wait a minute, I think this is a bit unhealthy." Like these feel very human, and I don't think that's good. Like these people are immortals; they have lived for like thousands of years or whatever. Why are they like, "Oh man, that's actually kind of a negative habit"? I think you should have a designated driver. Like no, like that just seems kind of. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Also, okay, I'm this part. Oh my god, this is a bit of a tangent, but it's gonna connect point two to point three, and I feel like it is, but it's gonna be just me talking. Point 2.5, I put it. I hate Stolitz. I hate Stolitz in season two. I hate Stolitz and Blitz's relationship because it feels so forced, and it flipped on a dime from, Stolitz is rich and powerful and manipulating, this like essentially a prostitute, Blitz, he's prostituting himself. He is having sex with him in exchange for a good or service. For for as a form of payment, you know. And so he is essentially Stolitz, this ultra rich, ultra powerful dude, uh, trying to force his love onto a prostitute, and then it switches from that to, man, Blitz is just being so selfish. He's so immature. He doesn't even know when someone really loves him. But I guess that's just one of his problems. Like, how is this his fault now? How is this his fault? Because the the ultra rich egomaniac is who doesn't respect him is like, why don't you think I don't respect you? Like, cause you don't. That's what you've been saying all first season. But now Stolitz has to happen, so we got to switch gears, you know. So I think that is meant to connect to this point. Point three: all villains are the most obvious evil one-note bastards ever, which I feel like applies for not as much what's his name, Stolas, but I feel like whenever they need to switch someone over from a more antagonistic to a more sympathetic light, it feels so jarring because then they have to, do a complete character overhaul. Like, oh, we got to switch from he doesn't care about Blitz to he actually cares about Blitz. So let's just have it be Blitz's fault now that he doesn't know when he has something good going on. What else? Oh, that was the Valentino. I hate this dude. Uh, but it's just like it's like was Ozzy and Fizzaroli when they first came up, they were, just unlikable pricks. They were making fun of everybody, all the main characters, clowning on what's his name, Stolitz, because his wife left him and took their daughter. Clowning on Blitz because he's lame and broke and poor and ugly. They're just getting on all of them, and on Moxie because of his like genuine love. And then they switched over. They're like, oh, now we got to make them likable, and so they switch from being like those completely antagonistic forces to just like kind of, how did I put it on here? The biggest assholes and shit starters ever to a slightly dickish gay guy and his big gay boyfriend that doesn't fucking do anything. Because he doesn't. What does Ozymandias do after his first appearance? Absolutely nothing. Fizzaroli gets kidnapped and held for ransom by a gang boss, and the entire episode he's signing papers trying to get him free rather than like doing anything. They get themselves free by the time he even gets started on doing something. I'm like, like, dude. But anyways, it just makes them. It feels so weird because they switch over from like these terrible people or like these really unlikable people to that so me mode. Like even the way he dresses from like a clown to like a normal gay dude. Like can't he just be gay and be a clown? Like why do you have to be like let him be a gay clown? That's messed up, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. Like I'm not exactly a social justice warrior myself, but I do think it was weird how when they needed to make him gay, they took him out of his clown suit and then they were like, "All right, now give him, a tank top and a jacket that says slut on the back." Like, why can't it just be a jester's outfit that says slut on the back? Why do you need to, like, I don't know, just, I don't know, just, oh no, man, maybe it's just me. What else did I say? The Redneck Family, Crimson, Chaz, the Dorks, the Cherubs, Stella and Entrelfis, Mammon. I really like Mammon because he's mainly just voiced by Mike Cusack, Pim. Um, and every now and then he'll say something, and then it'll sound like him doing the Rick voice from Bush Worlds. So I really like him. Striker, just all one note villains, and that sucks because Striker was interesting when he first came onto the scene. He was really interesting, talking about, like, his story kind of parallel with Blitz's, and again because Stolitz was, rich and powerful and doesn't care about anybody. But then now that he has to care about him because the story says so, and then he just becomes an evil cowboy, my dick villain. Like he's like they any depth he might have had, they stripped it away when they gave him a giant statue of himself with a gigantic boner that he puts his hat on. Like it's just so one dimensional sometimes. The hotel owner, he looks kind of cool, but again, just kind of evil. What did I say? The redneck family, just rednecks. Crimson, he's just homophobic. Chaz, he's just, come on, baby, suck it. Like, just that, the entire episode. And it's like, we get that he's supposed to be so obnoxious, but I'm like, there are other ways to make you not like someone rather than just being like, my dick, my dick, my dick for just 30 minutes straight or 15 minutes straight, however long these episodes are. But I'm like, it just feels like such an obvious way. Weirdly enough, I really love Adam. He's probably my favorite character, my favorite villain, I mean, just because his brand of egotism is so. It makes sense. Because if you were like like if you were heralded as like the greatest dude ever and given like free reign forever to do anything, and then you also live in this cartoon world, then obviously you're gonna be like him. So I just like him. And then he's like, man, don't you? He's like, aren't you grateful? All of humanity descended from these nuts. He's just so stupid. What did I put? Veronica was interesting. Yeah, Veronica, she transitioned nicely from antagonist to non-antagonistic side character. But again, it feels like she kind of got sanded down a bit to make it's like it's weird. Like you can tell when they have to be like, all right, okay, we got to make them more likable, we got to make them more lovable, make them more so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah.